You're listening to Unity Online Radio, the voice of an awakening world.
Fascinating interviews and compelling conversations. Be present. The Diane Ray Show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. I'm so glad you can join me and tune in and just be present for a little while, wherever you are, whether you're listening live or you're checking me out later on the podcast. I'm Diane Ray, and today we're going to delve into some healing modalities. You know, I'm so interested in natural healing methods, and I've had a little bit of personal experience that really kind of turned my mind around to the body's ability to heal. And so many people suffer from chronic pain. So many friends I have back issues, chronic pain problems. It's really a big problem in this country. In September of 2018, the CDC released a new report estimating that 50 million Americans, just over 20% of the adult population, have chronic pain. I was doing some research on this, and the numbers are just crazy. About 20 million of them have high impact chronic pain. And this is pain that's severe enough that it frequently limits your life or work activities. And many people have given up on trying to navigate the maze of the healthcare system, trying to get help. They've just said, okay, I'm going to live with the pain. And a lot of other people have turned to relying on really strong opioid pain medications. That has led to bigger problems in this country. I'm sure you've all heard about the opioid addiction problems that people are dealing with. And other people who haven't gone down any of those roads have looked to alternative treatment methods for relief, like acupuncture, meditation, Reiki, and other forms of energy healing. So today we're going to delve into an energy healing modality that I had never heard of. So I'm really interested to find out a lot more. I'm going to be introducing you to the work of Master Choi. And he's a healing master from Korea who has developed a method of healing that focuses on how humans can and should work with nature for optimal health. And Choi plays the role of guide for many people who are interested in the pure roots of his meditation program. That's a big part of the healing process. And he also brings aid to people who are suffering physically and mentally. In 1991, he founded the International Golden Rishi Meditation and Qigong Society, and he'll be teaching a series of workshops in the San Diego area this month, the 20th through the 29th. So I'm excited to check that out. So I'm going to be talking about his work in greater detail later on in the show. But right now, I want to introduce you to Lisa Martin. And she has experienced a healing with Master Choi, and she was just so blown away by the results that she's now helping to spread the word about his work and bring his workshops to the public. And Lisa was how I found out about Master Choi in the first place, so I'm excited to talk with her about it. So Lisa, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Diane, for having me on the show, and hello to all the listeners. I am one of those included in the chronic pain statistics that you just got done mentioning. And my story is, I feel nothing short of a miracle. And I know that's for many hard to believe. I was one of those doubters previously, but my life has certainly turned around since meeting Master Choi a year ago. And I believe ultimately that it was the work of God that kind of crossed my path with him.
And tell me about the problems you had, because I know that you had mentioned when we talked earlier on the phone before the interview that you had some chronic back and spine pain. And I know a lot of people deal with back issues.
Yeah, through my 40s, I had been dealing with years of pain and discomfort. And in 2013, I got the formal diagnosis of degenerative spine disease, which is kind of an umbrella term for a whole bunch of different things. I happen to have several different problems all up and down my spine. But by the time I was nearing 50, I was starting to walk kind of hunched over and stuff. I went to a really great spine specialist here in San Diego, and part of my journey has included, continuing visits to him just to check in, but also physical therapy, pain medication, acupuncture, the Igasco Institute, and ultimately a friend of mine led me to Tai Chi, and that's where things really started to change for me.
Wow. So you had never done Tai Chi before and you experienced some relief after you started practicing?
Yeah, I mean, even acupuncture was brand new to me. I've been a Christian for, I don't know, 25 years now, and I just was not accustomed to any of, what I would call Eastern philosophy practices, and I had never really had the need to explore them, and kind of like many, just got caught up in what a Western doctor says is, your only means of the outcome. And I was told that my situation is not reversible and that the best I could do would be to use some of these other modalities to try to keep ahead of the disease from progressing, to kind of keep the progression of it at bay. So, you know, I just, hearing this in my 40s, I just couldn't believe my ears. I mean, I just felt like I was way too young to be diagnosed with any such thing, but certainly a degenerative disease that to me seemed like something you don't get until you're my parents' age, perhaps. But um, I got introduced through my Tai Chi friends um, to the Golden Rishi meditation program. And Golden Rishi aims for pure healing by connection to nature, if you will, strengthening of your mind and thought and your intention. The process includes heightening the sensitivity to our own body. And from there, we learn to tap into our body's energy and to circulate that energy to the major organs, but also to the areas of pain and illness. God designed our bodies with self-healing capacity. And the more that I learn about this, the more amazed I am, not only at the design of our body, but just kind of going outside of what was my, I don't know, normal learning curve. I really started to look at or look deeper at, how is the human body designed, and what is it about acupuncture that did, bring me some types of relief. And so from that, and also the Igasku Institute, I started taking a closer look at how something internal, alignment, all kinds of things really do make a difference. And so that was the beginning of my eyes being opened. And then after being in a Tai Chi class with Master Han for about a year and a half, I became very close friends with his wife, and she ended up inviting me to go to Korea with her. And I had never been to Korea. I love travel. I love learning about culture, and I just love her to death. So I said yes without even thinking. And then later, I kind of, the doom set in on me, like, how can I possibly do this? How can I do such a long flight and all the walking and the stairs that a trip to South Korea is going to require of me? But I didn't want to back out of it because I really wanted to go. And so I just started praying. And when the trip finally came, just from the whole start of, from invitation on, I think it started becoming noticeable to me that God was looking out for me,
Pointing you in the right direction. Just listening to your story, I think it's so interesting for a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, just kind of your journey to explore different options, because I think a lot of us are kind of pushed to desperation before we look in those directions, and we just immediately kind of dismiss things like Reiki or energy healing, or even being open to the idea that, because we can't see it, it's not something, I guess, quantifiable. We can't see this energy moving through our bodies, so we tend to kind of dismiss it. And that's why I'm so interested to hear people's healing stories and what the body is really capable of doing, because I think there's just so much that we don't know. And then when you look at some of these ancient, practices that people have been doing for thousands of years, like acupuncture and Reiki and Qigong, which I was reading has been around for like 4,000 years. It's just so interesting what those ancient people and cultures knew about our bodies that we don't, and that we're looking back to try to find out, and then seeing that it works. And even just in my own experience, my husband had used the Igasku method when he had some horrible back pain. This was going on for over a year, where I really thought, well, I'm going to have to, take care of this guy. Or, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was really worried. And they were telling us, well, you have to have surgery and, all of these horrible diagnoses. And then he did the Agaski method and was able to heal and is pain-free today. And this is someone that I watched like lying flat on his back, taking 6 Vicodin a day just to function, just to get through the day. So there are other options. And that's why I think it's so important to have people like you come on and spread the word of your experience and of the work that people like Master Choi are doing. I just think it's so fascinating. So I wanted to comment on, just your journey that it took you to get here, because growing up, like, we're not told any of this stuff, in school. We have to kind of seek out these teachings, reading about acupuncture and finding out about energy healing and things like that. So I think it's important to have an open mind. And you did, coming from a background that you didn't really, talk about these kind of things or know about these kind of healings. And then you had this great success. So you were starting to tell us about when you got to Korea. So you were worried. I mean, you're going to be walking around, you're traveling, and you're not even sure how you can get around. And then you met Master Choi.
Right, because at the onset of the trip, I still had serious chronic pain on a daily and nightly basis. And, I really, my love for travel and learning about cultures is so strong that I never admitted my fears to my girlfriend, Hee Jung. And I just somehow decided that prayer was going to get me through it. And, I was honest with her in that I let her know, hey, with my back issues, because she knew a little bit about me, from the Tai Chi, because her husband is my Tai Chi instructor. So apparently secretly she ended up kind of worried about, how is it going to go as well. But yeah, I just decided I'm going to get over there. And if it just proves to be too much, I'm fine on my own. I'll just, let her and her daughter go off on their own. She's got, family and friends there, of course, because that's where she's from. And, things were going okay. I was being very careful and methodical. And a couple days into the trip, Hee Jung had a dinner meeting with this Master Choi. And it was to discuss, some business that they had plans about and I wasn't really part of. And out of that meeting, and I believe culturally it was like an extension of friendship between my friends, the Hans, and Master Choi. He extended friendship to me, reaching out to me and offering me a healing session. And I had no idea what that meant. It was so foreign to me. And I'm a Christian, so I just really, I'm not the one who, goes to a Reiki session or even, massage was kind of a real step out of what felt normal, natural, and not weird to me.
Your comfort zone.
And, but like I said, that was kind of the beginning of me opening my eyes to, I think it's time for me to push my boundaries a little bit. And I trusted Hee Jung, and it felt really right in the way when you feel the presence of God. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but there's times when I just know God is in the middle of something, and I just have to kind of take a leap of faith. And it just kind of felt like this opportunity was somehow more actually coming to me through God, and that Choi was somehow going to be used as a vehicle. And so I accepted, and we met again in 2 days after her dinner meeting. And I prayed a lot about it ahead of the meeting, because I have to admit, I was a little apprehensive about it. And, is it going to ask me to do some weird thing? Or, I don't understand what this is about. But I decided, you know what? I said that I wanted to come here to Korea. I wanted to learn about the culture. I wanted to really be open and immerse myself in it. And so in my prayers leading up to the meeting, I really found myself just thanking God for even a remote possibility that maybe he would use this session to help me. And also that I would just be open and accepting of, what was kind of a weird way to receive, healing or help. And I really felt God was in control. And this time, and I mean really this time, I think I truly let go of the control, and I just really let God have all the authority. And I think there was something really liberating about that. So when I met Choi again, a couple days later, we spent about half a day together, but some of it was, talking and a little bit of a discussion, and then going through a meditation program. And I've never done anything like it. And my girlfriend actually was translating for me because Master Choi does not speak English. And yet he didn't feel like a stranger to me. Again, it just, in this really unfamiliar place and setting, it just felt okay. It just felt safe. It felt right. And as Qigong started to talk me through this golden Rishi meditation, the steps, I started to feel this, I don't know, like a weird energy inside of me that I had never tapped into before. And I felt a lot of really odd things that I had never felt before. The tapping into energy, and also circulating the energy, a state of absolute calm through my body and nervous system, a real light-weightedness, among a list of other things. The meditation took about 50 minutes, although when we were done, both my girlfriend and I thought, no way, did that take almost an hour? It seemed like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We were shocked at how long we had been at it. But when I stood up, one of the first things I noticed after kind of the feeling kind of, I don't know, light on a cloud thing, I noticed the pain was gone. And that's such a noticeable difference in me that it kind of freaked me out. And I kind of was shaking my head a little bit because my cervical spine, the area in my neck, is probably worse than my lower back and my middle back. So when I didn't feel any discomfort there, and all of a sudden my head felt like it had a proper place on my shoulders, I really couldn't believe it. And I didn't at first. I just thought, I'm imagining this. And
but it was that instantaneous. So right after just the very first session, and you went in there, and you're kind of used to this pain, like you had been living with this for a long time.
For a decade, yeah, almost 2 decades. And
wow,
pain medication at least once every day, and just constant discomfort, which would make me kind of irritable at times, and because you just never feel good. Pain makes you not feel
but
good.
You just learned to live with it, right? You just
kind of
said,
yeah.
Okay, this is my life. I'm just going to try to deal with it.
Like many out there, I'm sure it's going to sound familiar that sometimes you get to a point of pain where you can't do what the littlest thing that just seems so pathetic, like carrying a bag of groceries. I really, so many of us take such a thing for granted, but when you're as young as I was, in my 40s, and I started to find, that small of a activity really uncomfortable. Come on, and it kind of starts getting you depressed. And so, yeah, this one half day with Master Choi just seriously impacted my life in an extremely positive way. There's many things that led up to it, but ultimately, I kind of feel like God orchestrated the whole thing for me. And Master Choi's program really kind of aims at eliminating religion out of the whole thing. And it's evolved to something that's really more about, ultimate health, achieving ultimate health by learning about your body, how it works, the natural state of your body in nature. just like how the universe is designed, and so many things work together, your body is a small universe, and that's part of the philosophy and thinking with behind Golden Rishi, meditation and Qigong. And
that's an interesting way to think about it. Your
yeah,
body is its own little universe. I
yeah. I
like
mean,
that.
you think of how God designed us, and we do have self-healing capacity. And I'll give you a concrete example. You cut your arm open, what happens? Your blood cells race to coagulate and seal up that cut. You don't force that to happen. You don't do anything. The body knows. Same when you break a bone. Our body knows to begin forming more bone cells to mend that sucker. We don't do it. It's not in our control. God designed us this way. So Master Choi has traveled around the world many, many times. Master Choi's in his 70s. You'd never believe it by looking at him, but he is. And he has studied many, many philosophies, religions, healing modalities, Western medicine, Eastern, ancient, new, you name it. He has covered the globe to find it. And then he's taken what he feels are the most integral components and redeveloped his own program with what he thinks the best of the best. And so many people, if they come and check out our workshop, they'll recognize parts of it because some things have been taken from other philosophies or thoughts or healing modalities. But this is nothing like I ever experienced. And it really looks at the whole picture and, kind of stemming from how we were designed and then working with that. So, it's going to include what do you eat and how much exercise and what exercise and taking control of the thoughts. There's physical and mental health. It's all involved. So it's a very well-rounded wellness program, if you will. And
so if people are listening right now, and they're in the West Coast area, if they're in Southern California this month in September, then they can definitely check out this workshop. I'm going to go because I am so fascinated with this, and just hearing your story and your testimonial, I can't wait to experience this for myself. So I just want to urge people, while we have a few minutes left in this segment, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more. So check this out. Go to Golden Rishi, RISHI.com, goldenrishi.com. And there's all kinds of information there about the upcoming workshops and also about Master Choi. And if you want to register for this, it's goldenrishi.com/register for the workshops. And your organization and Master Choi have been so generous to offer a special offering for our Unity Radio listeners. So there's a promo code. It's Unity, all caps, UNITY 2019, Unity 2019. And they get a special deal to check this out. So I wanted to ask you too, I mean, you were coming into this experience, without knowing anything about energy healing or meditation really, or anything like that. So would you say this program is suitable for, people like me who are just interested, and then also people who are practitioners, right? Who are maybe therapists or massage therapists or acupuncturists who are looking to really maximize what they're doing and offering for their clients. This would be perfect for them too, right?
yes, absolutely. So all levels of participants are welcome. Master Choi, he has academies in South Korea, China, and also Guadalajara, Mexico. And the thought behind him visiting United States is mainly to attract healing practitioners so that the healing methods and modalities can begin to spread and grow throughout the United States, because it has been successful in the other regions of the world. And I know that Master Choi works with all kinds of patients at these academies, some of which are like a learning facility, but there's a part of it that can also be somewhat likened to a hospital. They work with cancer patients and go about healing in the most natural ways. And he doesn't believe in medicine. So it's kind of up to each person, how they adopt the principles and basics of this. It's certainly a process, and I've been doing it now for a year, and I continue to learn more and more and more every week at the San Diego Qigong class. The San Diego instructor is Master Han, and so he is continuing the classes here through Qigong on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights too. So
I've been saying it wrong, I think. Is it correct to say, is it Qigong or is it Qigong?
It's both. It depends on which country.
Okay.
So either.
So I wasn't necessarily saying it wrong. Either one is acceptable.
Yes.
Okay. That's
yeah,
good.
but I just feel like I'm just so wowed at the missing pain.
That's so incredible. Now hold that thought. We're going to come right back, though. I want to hear some more about your story, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back in just a minute. I'm Diane Ray. I'm talking with Lisa Martin about Master Choi and his incredible Golden Rishi healing method, Qigong and meditation. We'll be right back.
We're glad you found us. This is Unity Online Radio, the voice of an awakening world.
Welcome back to Be Present, the Diane Ray Show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm so glad you could come after the break and continue the conversation. I'm Diane Ray, and I'm talking with Lisa Martin about Master Choi and the Golden Rishi Meditation and Qigong Society and her amazing healing experience that she's had with Master Choi. And Master Choi and his teachers are going to be in Southern California in the San Diego area for a series of workshops September this month, the 20th through the 29th. And you can find out about these workshops at goldenrishi, RISHI.com, and go to goldenrishi.com/register and get yourself in on this, because this just sounds incredible. And I'm really anxious to find out how all of this works. So Lisa, in the previous segment, we were talking about your experience and what happened to you after you met Master Choi in Korea with your friend Hee Jung, and how you had this incredible healing experience. So when you were describing it, you were telling me that you did kind of a deep meditation exercise. And I want people to understand how this can really work. And I know it sounds like really esoteric and weird. Like, how can that possibly work? If you're just doing a meditation and then you're feeling things kind of move around. And as I was listening to you share your story, I was thinking of my own experience where I had this amazing Reiki healing session a couple of years ago. And I was, kind of skeptical, but I had my mind open as I went into this. And I was really amazed at how someone who was not even touching me at all, but was just kind of placing her hands in certain areas around my body. And I could feel like blood moving around. I could feel kind of like a pounding, not painfully, but just like in my ears. Like I could feel like a rush of the blood moving around. And it was the most weird thing I can't even describe it, what I was feeling, but I was so amazed at how things were kind of moving around. And would you describe that? Like, you could feel things kind of moving. You said you felt your head kind of move back and, snap into place, your spine kind of straighten during the procedure.
Yeah.
So is that what you would describe, like energy kind of moving through the body, but you could feel it physically?
Yes. And the actual incident that you just described actually occurred from what I learned in Korea. But when I came back, I was trying to practice on my own. And, it just kept coming to me. So I felt my spine almost elongate or something, and healing energy kind of spiral up. And it just seemed like, I don't know, some kind of blockage cleared or something. Something just really loosened up. And it just seemed like, oh man, that is exactly what I've needed for 20 years, And
Wow.
I, kind of like what you just described in your Reiki session, I was feeling like it started with a discussion, a brief discussion, maybe half hour, 45 minutes, that we were kind of talking through what the meditation process was. And Master Choi explained to me the importance of, my intention and willingness and the concentration. The fact is, with how my back problems were, he was smart in letting me know ahead of time, if you're not able to sit in one spot, shift. Don't think you have to sit in a little, Buddha meditation pose and not move. Don't let pain distract you and break your concentration. Move and sit however you need to keep going. And so lucky he told me that ahead of time, because I did need to shift a lot. And I just felt the oddest things. He, in the translation, through the meditation, Qigong, my friend, translated, and it's something like, you just weird things I had never heard before. Your body has 124,000 pores. Please breathe through all of them now. Just really odd. And part of me, when I started hearing these things, I just wanted to crack up, because it's like, oh, come on, this is just hocus pocus. But then I caught myself, and this is at the very beginning, and I said, Lisa, you promised yourself that you were going to be open. You promised yourself that you would give this a real try, because if God's bringing this to you, you shouldn't be making fun of it. And so I got myself back on track. And honestly, I'm just still amazed at the whole thing. I mean, there's days where I will do the littlest thing now that I couldn't do a year ago. And I just stop, and I can't help it. Just say, thank you, God. And thank you for crossing my path with Master Choi. Thank you for using such a gentle spirit to help me.
So I'm just curious, have you been to doctors, since this experience, and had, MRIs or x-rays or anything that would show like, wow, look, something really happened?
Well, I've had a few checkups, just, I guess, because, they're scheduled every year, but I kind of told them, you're not going to believe this, but I had a miracle healing, and I don't want you to think I've lost my rocker, but I'm really okay now. I don't really feel like I need to come here.
I don't
And
need you anymore. That's a nice thing to say.
it felt pretty darn good, let me tell you. And, the whole thing really proved to me God really does work in mysterious ways. I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm not part of, the new thought religions. My mom is, and so that's how I'm a little bit familiar with it. So I just really am still blown away that out of my whole story, my process, which, is over 15 years now, coming to recognize, wow, there's something really wrong. I should not be in this much pain, especially in my 40s, to, getting to the point of being hunched over. And then I ended up with a frozen shoulder that I came really close to facing surgery to break my arm free away from my torso. And little by little, I just found my way from, doctor to physical therapist to acupuncturist to ikasku. And then one of my Christian friends invited me to Tai Chi with her friends. And then that was the start of everything for me. And I ended up making a vacation to South Korea with the Tai Chi master's wife, Qigong. And, I end up meeting this guy who is halfway around the world, who I've never met before, doesn't speak English. And God used this setting and taking me that far away to show me there's no limit to his power. And it really strengthened my testimony and belief in God in ways that are just astounding to me.
See, I really love this testimonial and what you're sharing as far as, coming from your beliefs as a Christian and how this work that you did with Master Choi just even your belief further. Because I could never understand, I live right here in San Diego, and, there's been a lot of back and forth over the past couple of years about teaching yoga in schools.
Yes.
And a lot of parents got upset, like, oh, this is pushing a Hindu philosophy on our kids. And I mean, I've studied yoga and I love yoga and I've done it for years. And I always felt closer to God when I left a yoga class, after I had this peaceful Shavasana experience. And I didn't think the two should be exclusive, and I know some people have had issues with that where they've even come out with, Christian yoga, where they just don't use the Sanskrit words, which is fine,
Exactly.
if that's what speaks to people, But I think it's interesting where you said that, Master Choi, his intention with even this whole program is that religion not even be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, like the dogma would stay out of it.
Yes.
But here's a question for you. So do you think that if anybody's listening right now and this is kind of speaking to them, they've been in pain, they're like, look, I want to try something that's going to work. But, I honestly, I really just don't even believe in God. I'm an atheist. I mean, would you think that it would work for them as well? That you don't really need to have that belief.
I do think it can be for anyone, because this is exactly the reason why Master Choi wants to remove religion kind of out of the main picture here, because
Right.
it too often ends up causing conflict or contention or just problems that don't need to be a part of this. He's delved into ancient healing history and modalities and gone all the way to current day. And like I said in the previous segment, taken what he believes to be the best of the best. But ultimately, our bodies are designed, the same, whether you believe God did that or not. And certainly for me as a Christian, there's many of my friends that are strong Christians that see this practice of, the Golden Rishi meditation, Qigong, as problematic simply because it does have Tao, or if you're Chinese, Tao roots. But ultimately, I can benefit from the learning process of others and not depart from my Christian belief, and close relationship with God. And I don't have to feel bad about seeking and hopefully attaining ultimate health just because somebody who maybe is more Buddhist, so let's say, in philosophy, is the one that has studied the world over and elected to give me the time of day to share it with me. That's a blessing to me. And honestly, I can't help but tell everybody. And if I get judged, I get judged. But the best that I can do, I think, is use my testimony to point out, in my opinion, God owns everything. And the atheist, of course, is not going to agree with me on that. But the truth of the matter is, our bodies are designed the same. The human body is the human body. And like a small universe, there are things in place that help us to have a healthy life. And there's things that we can do that actually counter that. I mean, what food we eat is a perfect example. So I think for me, I say this is proof to me personally, and it is my personal story, that there's not necessarily any limits to God's power and authority. And for me, this is certainly an example of God bridging gaps between people and different belief systems. And I want to be an instrument within that process. So that's why I'm on Unity Radio, talking to anyone and everyone I can. If you're in pain, I feel for you. And I'm here to tell you there's a workshop coming up that you might want to open your eyes to and see if maybe there's something there for you too. I mean, here
Right.
God led me from one friend to another who introduced me to a Korean man halfway around the world that doesn't even speak English. And that's how God showed me his powers and that miracles are possible. I haven't felt the need for any pain medication since my visit to Korea last June. That is a miracle. And after I had returned, my husband, one night we were watching a TV program, and I don't remember what sparked him, but he said, "Hey, I haven't heard you complain about your pain. What's with that?" Because normally that was a daily thing for me. And I said, "I know, I'm trying to tell you, I think a miracle occurred. I don't know how else to explain it. I just am so thankful for it. I just feel so good. I just want to shout it to the world." And I mean, the fact that I was told it wasn't reversible, and here I am walking around and I can carry a bag of groceries on my own again, I mean, it's incredible to me. And I'm so blessed that I was brought to my friends, Qigong and Master Han. And, it's like we're a family, the whole Tai Chi and Qigong group. It's like as you join the group, you start to just want to help each other, and you start to just feel like you're part of the family, and it's just such a beautiful, lovely thing. And we're all different faiths and beliefs within that group, but it isn't an issue. It isn't a problem because we're there for each other. We're there for attaining ultimate health, and it's about friendship and love for one another.
Well, I really love this story and the message that you're sharing because I believe that as well. I think, God bridges gaps between people and beliefs. And I was talking a little bit earlier about, the yoga. And I always felt bad for like, why are you letting something like that keep you from this wonderful practice for your body that's going to make you feel more peaceful and closer to God? How could that be wrong? How could that be not compatible with whatever faith you are?
Yes.
So I love what you're saying about that you were open enough and open-minded to experience this and to be open to what Master Choi was teaching and had this incredible healing, and you want to just shout it from the rooftops and tell everybody how this can work. And I always think back, like I was brought up Catholic, and there's a prayer, I believe it's called the Nicene Creed, where it says, I believe in one God, the creator of heaven and earth, of all that is seen and unseen. And I always go back to that line of all that is seen and unseen. Like even the people back, in biblical times that wrote that prayer were recognizing that, look, there's things that we can't understand with our human pea brains, and, let God kind of control this kind of stuff. And there's things that we are not supposed to exactly figure out.
Exactly.
Let God figure it out. Let the universe figure it out. So I'm excited to learn more about this. And while we had time in the segment here, we wanted to introduce Hee Jung, and she's probably been waiting there patiently to to talk. I have to explain to our listeners, like we've been trying, to get this interview together, and I've got Lisa and Hee Jung in one location. I'm in another location, so we're taping this. So Hee Jung Han is the business manager at Golden Rishi here in San Diego, and she's been helping to establish the teachings here in the States. Is that right?
Yes.
Hi, Hee Jung. How are you?
Hi.
I can hear you. I can hear you fine. Just talk right into the mic. You sound good.
Okay.
So you're the business manager, right, at Golden Rishi, and how long have you been working with Master Choi?
About 25 years ago.
Wow, 25 years. So
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of miraculous healings in that time, haven't you? Have you seen a lot of people and their lives being changed by these teachings?
Yes. So yeah, first of all, I say to my husband is Master Sanghan. He's about when he was 26, he very serious heart disease. And then he went to many doctor, Western, Eastern, also shaman, but he got no answer and no helping. And then my husband, at the time, he is barely breathing. Only he can do the sit. After many attempts, many healers, he give up the hope and accept many healers. So he give up his life. Yeah, he would die. At that
So
point,
he,
yeah.
I was going to say he had a healing. What you were saying, your husband had an incredible healing with Master Choi, and you said he had problems with his heart. Was that what you said?
Yes, because he cannot breathe nighttime. He feeling like almost he feeling die every
Oh, he
day.
couldn't breathe. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a serious heart condition, and I don't know if you caught it, but she's trying to say that he was from one doctor to another, one healer to another. You name it, he tried it. Like many people with chronic pain or problems, you just come to a point of desperation, and he gave up and just decided he had to accept that he was going to die.
Yes, and one of his doctor recommended the Master Choi, and he decided he meet the Master Choi, and the Master Choi he and with my husband he practices a golden Rishi meditation and Qigong, and then he invited hiking top of the mountain, and then my husband say, "Oh, I can do that. I can do it. It is to be kill him." But he said, "You can trust me," and then try again, and then he tried to with Master Choi, he made it, and then after that, he couple days later, he called me and crying. He said to me, "I'm cured. I'm cured. No, I'm okay." So, oh, we cried together. Oh my God, this is amazement, like a miracle, because it's he can live. Yeah. After that, we moved to the United States.
I just want to
Yeah.
tell people that, since that healing, so he's gone on to become a teacher of Master Choi. He was a student of Master Choi, so he's now teaching these workshops. And your husband is also a Tai Chi master. He's the president of Golden Rishi, and he's also a 7-Dan Taekwondo black belt. And this is from someone who thought that he was going to die in his 20s and couldn't breathe.
Yes. And now we're 25 years later.
That is just unbelievable. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine the horror that her husband felt when here he agrees to meet up with Master Choi, and Master Choi immediately says, "Okay, we're going to hike up a mountain." It's like, no, I can't do so.
Right? Yeah, bring
I can
a
barely.
stretcher.
Exactly. Yeah. And he meant hike, not, catch a ride. But they spent a couple of days together, and apparently, again, started learning the basics and principles, and, made him an immediate believer as well. So he had a miracle healing, like I did, maybe even a more intense one, to be honest with you.
And he'll be talking about this as part of the healing workshop coming up on the 20th. It's the 20th through the 29th, and people can find out about the days and times and all of that if you go to goldenrishi, rishi.com/register. And again, that promo code is Unity, UNITY, all caps 2019, and find out what's going on with that if you are in the San Diego area. So I'm really excited about this. So your husband, when he's teaching this, I was reading that the International Golden Rishi training methods, it comes from nature. It's based on the 5 elements of the physical universe. And we'll find out, all about that at the workshop. But so Lisa, did you learn about that a little bit, like the 5 elements of the physical universe?
A little bit, and it's a pretty complex topic. I can go through some basics of it, but
it just kind of, I guess the basics being that these are kind of the laws. Are these laws of the universe in a way?
it stems from some of ancient Greek philosophy. Herodias was looking at water, the theory of water as a basic element that makes up everything in our universe. So again, it's ancient study that's going back to the universe and the mechanics of a universe. The five elements in the theory are not actual matter, but they're abstract references to natural energy sources. So from Western versions, we have come to name the five elements that will be maybe familiar to some: water, earth, fire, metal, and wood.
Right.
But again, it's not physical matter. It's more abstract than that. It's like abstract energy, and that energy is found in some of these physical items at a strong level. So they're just used as example. And like wood, has the highest proportion of this particular type of energy. So the energy is just called wood. As a tree grows and gets taller and it starts to branch out, the branching out actually has to do with a fire energy. So it kind of starts to get a little bit complicated the deeper you get into it. The core essence is that these five energies make up everything in the world, visible and non-visible.
This has been so fascinating to talk to you about this. I can't believe our time is almost up. I'm so glad we could connect. This is so great. And I'm excited that people are going to find out about this incredible healing and find out about these workshops and the Golden Rishi Qigong and Meditation Society, and also the work of Master Choi. And hopefully a lot of people will come and check out the teachings and bring them out like little tentacles and spread them out around the world. And Hee Jung, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about your experience and about your husband, Master Han. And he'll be teaching and is part of the workshops that are coming up. Is that right?
Yes. Thank you.
And I'll get to meet you there in person, so that will be fun.
Yes. I would like to clarify one thing for those who check out the website. The workshop days right now are described in all day or all weekend. But if you cannot take that much time, certainly it's, optimal to really immerse yourself. But if you are absolutely unable to do full day or full week or full weekend, you can come to 3-hour sessions. You can break it down and pay for just 3-hour sessions. So we hope that you will join us no matter what your beliefs are and faith. This is about health and helping each other.
Open your mind to some new ideas. I love to share this kind of information with people, and I'm really excited to learn more. So go to goldenrishi.com/register, find out all about it, and also check out the International Golden Rishi Meditation and Qigong Society. And Lisa and Hee Jung, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for listening. This is Unity Online Radio, the voice of an awakening world.